Radiant pick.
Chaos Knight.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire's turn to ban.
Naga Siren.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. It's Dire's ban now. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. It's Radiant's ban now. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Radiant's turn to pick. Ten seconds. Dire pick.
Stare your death in the face.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire's turn to pick.
10,
10 seconds. You only got 5 seconds. Even less now. Radiant pick.
Tegna.
10 seconds. 5 seconds left. Radiant's turn to pick.
War Chief.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire pick.
Enchantress.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. It's Dire's band now.
What's the way?
Ten seconds. It's Radiant's band now. Radiant's turn to ban. Ten seconds. Dire's turn to ban. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire's turn to pick. Radiant pick.
Abyssal Underlord.
10 seconds. 5 seconds left.
Outworld.
It's hero choosing time. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left.
Oh, this is not news to anybody else. There's been a lot of Centaur games, but we have not cast a Centaur game yet. And I'm mega hyped for these fat, juicy hoof stomps into double edges, Cinderin. What are you excited about this game?
I love watching OD, so...
Oh my, all right, this conversation's over, actually. That is just filthy.
I mean, I feel like your judgment of heroes, you lost your permission after you said Lion is the worst hero to play against in all of Dota. It has been unpicked this team.
I don't. It's not about it being good or bad. It loses the game, of course.
Oh, so that's why you hate playing against it, because you win all the time.
Yeah, it's too easy.
I understand. Okay.
Very easy.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things here. Obviously, let's talk Underlord first. Gaimin Gladiators, this has been stable for them all year whenever it's been the right game. And here, should have a good lane against Naga Siren. You have the percentage-based damage against Centaur, which is also pretty good. I guess they wanted an aura carrier with the Chen strats. This is bread and butter Gaimin Gladiators, mid-game dominance kind of lineup. And Azure a bit on the greedier side. You've got OD plus Naga. And hopefully for them, the Centaur can get off to a good start, because I think they need him to be able to hold the towers when Gaimin's ball is inevitably going to come.
Do you think either team coming into this has more momentum? I mean, Gaimin have come from the beginning of the lower bracket, mind you. No team has ever reached the finals from the beginning.
I think Gaimin has the most momentum because their games are shortest. So they're just faster in general. That's gotta be it, right? They're not messing around. They're winning a lot of their games with this Chen in like 30 minutes. And I was thinking, okay, in this series, Azure, if you're going up against Gaimin Gladiators, don't give them Chen. Yeah, and well, they did it game one, so we'll see if they're going to have the solutions. Obviously, we're going to see the Enchantress as a potential pseudo-counter. I feel like that whole dynamic has changed a lot over the years compared to what it used to.
This is quite the 1v1 support battle we have going on here. Will it end? Ench? Okay, gonna stick it up.
Dead.
Another right click, and there's the fairy fire.
Gotcha. He had a fairy fire.
You knew that.
I only saw the stick.
You only knew that.
Yeah.
Good job.
Relax.
Sorachio, already very low in this top lane. The old Centaur Muerta combo.
Yeah, this lane is extremely potent. So you put down the calling, it gives Centaur time to walk in and connect the stun double edge combination, and then if you line it up nicely, you might even proc the silence, and that's going to be a tough one for Gaimin Gladiators. I think a lot of this is going to come down to whether Chen finds the right creep. And well, what do we got so far for good old Celery? He's got a Kobold Foreman. You wanted momentum, here you go.
There you go, okay. That just needs a Midas next.
Okay.
They stack.
The speed aura, not the gold.
Right. That's
Okay.
that's the big brother of the gold man.
That is true.
The gold man doesn't really last too long. One day we'll get that buff. I mean, he's drinking that golden cup. He should be given some money as well.
Creep here, Celery. Harpy Stormcrafter.
That is that still the S tier creep?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's one of them. There's a couple that you really want. This lane, I mean, usually you want an offensive creep to play together with Chaos Knight, but I'm actually not sure if they can play offensively. Falling is such an insane defensive spell against any central Chaos Knight wants to do. Maybe you have to harass FY a decent amount with the Chain Lightning.
All right, I have a question for you. Do you think Quinn has an obsession with Pangolier?
Repent.
Feels like it's all he plays after talking so much garbage about picking that freaking hero. He loves it. I mean, it keeps getting nerfed. Keeps seeing it over and over and over. How does it fare against the OD? Because this is a hero that we haven't really... I mean, we've seen Somnus play it. He's like... I don't know if he's the only one, but he has played it ridiculously well to the point where I'm unsure why it's not being picked by other teams.
I guess that's just not many players in this tournament that really feel comfortable on it. The only other player that comes to mind that we saw play it was Kiyotaka, and that was hit or miss, to be honest. Somnus has been the only player that has been consistent on this, and I mean, we say that, it's been 2 games, right? It's not overwhelming, but yeah, the lane matchup itself should be good. OD kind of loses to absolutely no melee heroes in mid, I want to say. Pango should be pretty straightforward. But at the same time, in that pool of mid heroes, Pango is maybe one of the melee heroes that stands the best chance. You can always disengage the harassment with Swashbuckle. You can get CS because you have spells that CS for you rather than just attack. But I expect Somnus to come out of this lane at
Chaos Bolt. Running action there with Hoofstomp with Chalice, who's now completely out of mana. See if he goes for... I mean, we're seeing a lot of 1-1-1 builds on the Centaur. Game that Zai went, he went 2 into the passive. Kind of had to jungle a bit, and he just had a really rough game overall.
Yeah, this is going to be a much better laning stage for the Centaur than it was in that game, though. We've already come... Okay, there we go.
Falling with
Healing Lotus.
Stomp. Yep, back into it.
Hello.
Can get stomped? No. Double edge is there. First
Thanks
blood
and
goes
have
away.
fun.
FY. See that Chalice dies shortly after, so it is a trade, but Azure Ray going to be very happy with that.
That trade isn't necessarily the absolute worst because getting levels on Chen is really powerful. Getting a stronger creep and more creeps in lane will be helpful, and obviously, considering how this lane goes, if he has any sort of regeneration item or any heal, or in this case a protective item such as the medallion, that is even hybrid, can also use it offensively if they see a kill opportunity, should probably make for a good laning experience. I don't really think this was a significant loss for Gaimin Gladiators because they traded. Duracho should be a bit more comfortable here knowing that Celery's got his back.
Yeah, what would you say the reason that we haven't been seeing Underlord all too often, despite this being an ace special? You can see Deadshot back in the top lane.
Oh, that
to the
back
hook on double
range.
edge to follow. Celery is just dead,
That was...
along with the Harpy.
I want to say that was within 10 range of missing that hoof stomp. That was super close, Chalice. Well done. Underlord... I mean, the hero is kind of strange in the sense that it's very one-dimensional, right? Like, you're very slow, you only play a specific kind of fights well, you have some very bad lane matchups. In this case, you feel confident picking it because you know the Naga will be carry. But some of the other carries that we've seen in this tournament, such as sometimes like Monkey King would be the standout one, makes your game miserable. And this hero just flat out is not good if it loses miserably. But in this matchup, you feel safe as ace. I think you're great time. You'll get a Vanguard very soon. Get towards the
Forward again, yep, the calling with the hoof stomp double edge. He gets silenced, but looks like Durachi will be able to walk away. You can see Chalice going for the kill build. It's a 2-2-0, in fact. It's not exactly the best scaling spell, but you know, with a little extra stun action. be valuable for them to continue to get kills in this lane, at least try to. But Durachi, of course, has that built-in healing mechanic with the Chaos Strike. They heal up a decent amount. See,
This is
the
an
bot
important
lane,
Lotus
Ace is
here.
in a lot of trouble, getting chased by Lu and Ench, trying to deny himself onto the creeps, but not going to happen.
And the
Another
healing
kill
Lotus
goes away of
top.
Azure.
Healing Lotus top went to Chalice, which is very important here. You've mentioned how he's been running out of mana. Keeps getting the Lotus every 3 minutes. That's an additional stun that can offset that problem in the lane. Will lay into him a little bit here, but here comes the Arcane Boots as well.
Indeed, Hoof Stomp double edge with inside the calling as well. Durachi just tries to man fight his way out of this into the double edge though. Chalice will actually get the kill and live. And now Somnus with the Astral setting up another kill onto Celery. Well, the Ogre has something to say about that, but Santa's Eclipse is going to be more than enough to provide Azure with yet another kill. 5-1. Early lead for them.
You know what we haven't had this whole tournament, Shannon?
What's that?
Trivia time.
Oh, no.
What do you think the debuff that you get after you get OD ulti is called?
Oh, I know this. Okay, this... Oh, really stupid. It's mana something. Mana something.
Mana allergy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Imagine being allergic to mana. That would be very annoying.
I guess should be an AM spell name. Maybe for another lifetime.
What's an AM?
It's a hero.
Oh, I haven't really. I haven't.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
I
really
almost forgot he exists.
I think he was somewhat popular 6 months ago, and then people realized that he's very boring to watch, so he was nerfed. And then...
Surely that's what happened.
As long as he's not played at TI, it's fine, right? That's the balance. We have a swash from Quinn. You can see in terms of farm, Somnus just a little bit ahead. Obviously, part of that is that gank top. Quinn has yet to leave the lane. The Rolling Thunder quite yet.
Radiant's bottom tower's still there.
Satyr
But
creep
not
for
for long.
the old Ench. And we'll see if Somnus ends up going for the same relative.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Time. Quinn, Rolling Thunder. Get the OD to start. Doesn't want to put him on the cliff, though. Has to be a bit careful. Astro going to keep him alive a little bit, but he is completely surrounded, and Somnus does die. Quinn getting a very valuable kill here. Hurricane onto the Ench as well, surrounded by creeps. Do they have a stun? No. TP away safely, but still, mid lane down. Gaimin Gladiators pull away with a slight gold lead.
Yeah, that is a very good kill for them to get. Obviously, Somnus was starting to have a, I mean, not an outstanding game, but OD is the kind of hero that you want to kill a couple of times if possible, so just slowing it down. The hero sometimes falls victim to kind of chain feeding, where in order to cast your spells and deal damage, you need to be in there, and if you don't have the items to sustain yourself against this kind of ball lineup, you can be in trouble. Oh, wow. Okay, that was not expected. But I mean, I guess at the same time, right?
It is
he
one
was left alone because Chen went mid, so Garachi wasn't.
Gaimin can get something out of this. Swash is going to miss. This is all for a position 5 Ench right now. They'll get it. But obviously, like we talked about, does cost them their CK in the top lane. Now, I mean, Somnus was kind of disappointed to see that hero because he wasn't even in range for XP. He's like, all right, I guess I'll help push because OD's very good at hitting towers, as you can see.
Yeah.
But he's going to lose his mid lane in the process with all these creeps and sellers. Well, Quinn wants to fight, apparently.
Oh, miscommunication there.
Yeah, Hoof Stomp not going to connect thanks to the Astral. See, but he wants to pursue any further. Looks like that might break things up. Still no passive for Chalice, so no retaliate.
Not feeling the love.
Yeah.
Still going for that kill build.
It's going to slow down his farming a little bit if this becomes a little bit more stale and you need to hit some jungle, not having any points in retaliate. Level 3 double edge. If you're stacking jungle, you can't just spam this with a Vanguard. The Seeds of Serenity offset it quite well though, so perhaps he's going to be okay, but yeah, a lot of the time we see Centaurs go to something like 1-1-4 so they can keep farming essentially for free all around the map. You can't really question how much it paid off top, right?
Yep.
Ratio was shut down quite effectively. 3 deaths on the Chaos Knight so far.
Dyer's middle
Is the
tower
lowest net worth far, aside from the OD of Somnus, who arguably maybe rotated a little bit too much. He moved top twice, like you pointed out. The second time he got nothing out of it except some tower damage. And the first time he was also maybe a little bit late to the party, so...
Durachi refuses to give up this tower. You can see the calling come in, along with the ult from FY, already level 6, trying to apply some pressure to Durachi. Quinn TP's in with that Rolling Thunder, looking for Chalice. Looks like that's going to be an easy cleanup for Gaimin. So good rotation overall. Meanwhile, bit of malice from Ace, but he's surrounded by enemies. Trying to go through his Fiend's Gate, but it's not going to happen. He will die. And meanwhile, fight continued in that top lane as Quinn will secure a double kill.
Yeah, honestly, they were not even close to killing him.
Get that courier.
That was... When they went for CK there, I think they only got him to about a third. So overestimating how much damage they had in the tank there were Azure Ray, and that punish from Gaimin hurts twice as hard when you also lose the tower. So I feel like we've seen this type of game from Gaimin a lot of times this year. I feel like I'm watching a replay of half their games, which means by extension Azure Ray cannot be surprised. Like this is Gaimin's best strategy, you could say, like this archetype of strategy that they're running here, and it's something that we've had the panel talk about in the past as well. Gaimin Gladiators isn't exactly a team that comes out with some really big surprising picks that much, right? You could say Underlord isn't picked that much, but the style...
Run into Lou. Lou, no song to work with. Return to the little piggy. FY trying to help out as much as he can. Looks like that's enough distance for the Naga to get away. Might cost them their edge, and it will. Yeah. A good sacrifice for Azure Ray. Could have been a lot worse.
That's the thing about Gaimin, though, is that
just another
you're watching the strategy and you're like, this, you could have shown me this draft and I would have guessed it was their team, right? You just blindly show me this draft.
Well, you played Pango and you know already, right?
No, who played this at TI? You'd be like, that's Gaimin Gladiators. But the fact of the matter is, you know they're going to run it. They're going to keep running it until they lose. And hasn't really been the case.
Radiant's
so,
bottom tower is under attack.
They're not slaves to the meta.
Nope. They're doing what they want. They're doing what they want. They're doing what they're good at. And if you're not good enough to beat it, they're going to keep doing it.
Why we found ourselves in this elimination match, lower bracket of TI. Winner of this, here's top 3, face off against LGD tomorrow. Quinn now with the illusion rune. So, as
Radiant's bottom tower needs a hand.
Shortly, regardless.
Yeah.
Blue gonna be working on Manta. No big crazy items. No switch ups from the Naga. That feels like one of the most cookie cutter heroes in the game in terms of just itemization.
Dire's middle
Maybe a
tower
Bloodthorn 4th item. That's the switch up.
Has fallen.
Gotcha.
Centaur, on the other hand, you just get HP, so they're very exciting.
Middle
He's gonna go
tower
for pipe
looks
this
to be
game. Do
disintegrating.
you think he's gonna have?
Close to Atos here, FY. Gives them some extra options. It helps the Centaur not buy dagger by quite a lot that the Muerta is going to be able to set him up instead. And they really want... They need to be able to outlast the Pango ult. They need to be able to outlast the Firestorm. And as I mentioned before, buying dagger here isn't a gimme because you might not have enough damage to burst anyway, so maybe you're better off just having the durability in the fight.
I have to say, this is feeling like vintage Gaimin from earlier. I mean, we've talked about them obviously a lot since they've been winning a lot of tournaments, but the last couple months, I feel like they've dropped off a bit. They've had a bit of a roller coaster, if you want to call it that, but Top three network
Somnus.
on their side. Somnus going to get some benefit thanks to the Stampede. Looks like that'll be enough for him to get away as Ace comes in through the Fiend's Gate. Horsey action from Somnus. Oh, he's going to show himself again, though. Pit is just dodged. Quinn now with the Rolling Thunder. Can he find him in the fog? Going to be close. Very close. Yes, he finds him. Shield crash down goes Somnus. Wow, that was really well played.
That was a game of hot and cold.
Radiant's top tower
Well,
is
he got
under
him.
attack. Dire's middle tower looks to be disintegrating.
That is death number 3 already for Somnus. I mean, how does this hero come back? Is this
Dire's middle
here you have
tower
to
is
get
under
Midas on
attack.
eventually, or
That is kind of the down. Oh, hang on. That is a very.
Doraccio. All right. That apparently was a centaur.
Yep.
They'll be a little beefier than that, but that's
Yeah,
a lot of
that does a lot of
in the
damage.
meantime, trying to TP out in the midst of action. Looks like he'll get away.
Radiant's top tower's about to topple.
But Gaimin still, I mean, even if they don't get the kill, they're forcing these guys out of their comfort zone, back to their base. See that lead just slowly growing in Gaimin's their favor, well, their flavor as well, but their favor mostly.
Got myself some good Gaimin flavor.
Delicious. Tangolier on the grill.
Okay.
Beef enjoy or something.
Wonderful. Yeah, so what does OD do to recover? This is kind of one of the problems of this hero is when it's doing poorly in the beginning, the recovery curve is quite steep, and you also didn't go Midas. So I think that is probably part of the reason that a lot of OD games that do get played end up buying Midas early, because you just, the risk-reward of bypassing it requires a very, very well-executed game. And just these couple of deaths on Somnus now,
Radiant's bottom tower needs
this
a
hero doesn't
hand.
farm that fast. So if you don't have Midas,
Tier 2 tower down
Not catching up.
17 minutes.
Bottom tower is
Rally
low.
skeletons.
yep. Oh, that's
Something to fear.
We love the boys. A lot of the boys here.
Quite a few.
5-minute cooldown on the boys.
See why they stop now. They're going to force out the fortification at the very least. Azure, FY will show up. There's the fort.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tofu trying to protect his nether ward.
Dire's
No
middle
half
tower
duration left. Phantasm used by Doraccio. They want to continue on here. Already half HP on this tier 3. Somnus making his DP action coming. Okay. Try everything on Edge. He gets delete. Oh, he's still alive. The Astral keeps him just barely alive. In fact, he's going to be able to piggy away. The Stampede will help in that effect as well. The Fiend's Gate from Ace to get deep into the base of Azure is already, they're knocking on the door. Doraccio getting healed from the sideline from Tofu. They're going to have to do a lot more healing than that. They're going to be able to kill off the Edge eventually, as Chalice is now going to die. And just like that, it's a 5 versus 3. There's a song from Lou, but can they combo this?
No.
And his Eclipse is not up, so their racks will end up falling at 18 and a half minutes. Gaimin Gladiators playing way too fast for Azure to handle. Another reality rift into this is going to be too much damage, but there, just at the last moment, Somnus gets off the Astral, but it still will set up Quinn to come in and finish the job. And now Gaimin Gladiators with a 10k lead, playing so fast.
And if you think back on the draft, the way this started was Gaimin Gladiators picking the Chaos Knight and Azure immediately responding with Naga as a proposed counter. The problem is Naga counters CK later on, but it doesn't counter the tempo. And the rest of the lineup that Azure have built for themselves here are not particularly good with handling this kind of pressure. So you're giving Gaimin Gladiators their Chen strat, and you're picking greedy heroes into it. Let's face it, Naga plus OD just is inherently greedy.
Right, this feels,
You're kind of asking for it.
it's not quite the same, but it feels like the Noun series between Gaimin Gladiators and them, as Chalice is going to get found out. He gets off the hoof stomp, but Quinn is there with the swash. And the inhibit, as we all like to call it, Chalice will die in front of his tier 2 tower. Of course, Stampede not even bothering to be used because he was dead to rights.
I don't know if Azure have enough damage. I think if Gaimin Gladiators just group up and keep going, they're just gonna run down the lane. They've got Greaves, they've got Hand of God, they've got the Pugna Life Drain. What damage are you bringing to the table? OD has ulti on cooldown for another minute. Naga has 1 item. So Naga is not ready to fight. This hero doesn't fight properly until it has like 2 or 3 of them. And time's running out. So yeah, here we go.
Another Phantasm from Doraccio. Already half HP on the tier 3. Edge, okay. Astral keeps him alive. But he dies shortly after. We've seen a lot. It feels like just a replay over and over as Lou. Okay, he's
Absolutely.
in a little trouble here. Quinn continuing on. He's going to use the Rolling Thunder. They do not have Song. There's the Astral again. Can they combo it? Somnus is going to pay the ultimate price, though, for this, as finally the Song comes out. Quinn not going to be able to combo up too much as a result. Back to the low ground.
Wait up.
Gaimin going to try to reset. Is the Enchbot back? Still 5v5, but now those barracks are exposed. Keep in mind, Roche has not even been attempted yet. This does not fit the meta that we've been watching this entire tournament.
But this isn't the first time that Gaimin do this, though.
Yeah, Gaimin are very special.
When they've played this strategy or this archetype strategy, they bypass the Roche a lot. And I think their logic is that it takes too much time and you give up map control. Like, they don't want to corner themselves, literally, when they can just run at the enemy base and not let them play at all.
Right.
If you go there, maybe you lose a team fight and you fall behind. It's opening the door because you're inherently at a bit of a disadvantage by being the team that's in the pit. Like this, neither team has Aegis, and if you're stronger, you don't need it. So
Killing spree.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that wasn't Enchantress. No longer, though. Another Astral Imprisonment onto the center, who's stuck inside the pit, so gonna get rooted again. Brought back with the Reality Rift into another root. The Deadshot's gonna keep Quinn away, but still, damage is being applied to these barracks. Azure Ray not showing any signs of life here. Blue on the backside. He's trying to help out, but he's already lost the Centaur. And now Somnus on the run. All he can do is go back to base. In fact, he might be back to death. He astrally himself again, but dies again shortly after as the GGs are called. And Gaimin Gladiators completely stomp Azure Ray in game number 1.
Radiant's middle barracks has
Gracious.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said this reminds you of the series Gaimin had against Nouns. I feel like Nouns fell into the exact same trap, kind of adjusted their draft in the exact, or came in with a similar kind of strategy. The heroes were different, but the pacing was the same. And yeah, this is kind of just a repeat. You give Gaimin Gladiators the push strat, you don't counter it. What did you expect? It's